I'm really delighted that after a long campaign involving residents, myself, members of the council, we've secured a £40 million investment in Peterborough. That's £4 million a year, every year for 10 years. This is part of Labour's Pride in Place programme, and what it's about is making sure some of our left behind estates and neighbourhoods, like we've got in the Ortons or Paston or Llewellyn or Gunthorpe, get a chance to spend money on, give themselves some TLC. So that could be everything from cleaning up the estates, it could be new bins, it could be CCTV, it could be a new youth centre. It's a long-term commitment, and the real big opportunity here is about getting the community together, whether that's the schools or the family hubs or parents or community groups, and having a local conversation about how we use this money and what people want. So it's not about the government saying you're having a new building, it's about us having a conversation with the council, with residents, about how we use this money over 10 years to improve opportunities in places like that.
So, according to data, levels of the highest deprivation in the way of poverty were chosen by the government to have considerable investment put into those areas. And actually, I've been a GP with a clinical background that's worked in one of those areas. I've seen that the socio-economic deprivation in those areas is very high indeed. I think that this is a welcome gesture. I'd like to thank our MPs and the government for prioritising those areas with the highest need, and it actually gives us some huge opportunities to regenerate and develop those areas in consensus with the very people and organisations that are focused there. So I'm very excited about the prospect, very excited working with my colleagues and with the MPs and with local stakeholders and organisations who know about those areas and where it's going to be most needed. And obviously the survey that the MP has put out, it will welcome any input from the public who live in those areas to see what they would like to see in the way of change in their neighbourhoods. So incredibly positive indeed.
As an independent councillor, former leader and now deputy leader, I've always drummed about protecting the vulnerable, and I'm ever so grateful to Andrew for bringing that money into the most deprived areas of Peterborough and protecting those vulnerable, providing the facilities, bringing them in line with the rest of the community. It is going to be a small change, a minute change, but it'll make a difference, and making difference is the key thing for all of us to be here.
Well, there is absolutely brilliant news that alongside the £40 million community fund, we've also secured £1.5 million short-term funding to spruce up and help tidy up the city centre and some other parts of the city centre. It's a key message I've been given by Councillors Qayyum and Councillor Farooq about the need to tidy up the city centre. We know how important things like the Guildhall are and the conversation around that. I want to make sure this money comes into the city, and working with the council, we have an opportunity to decide how we can tidy us up, regenerate us, and begin to start a bigger conversation about what the city centre looks like.
We're obviously looking at the time in which we would like to invest it within the city centre, and again, there are numerous possibilities. I think that people have shown us and told us exactly what they want to see. A good clean-up would be nice as well. And obviously, the visual optics of coming into the city centre, the Guildhall obviously being at the centre of that, and an actually landmark heritage site here, something around that would be very good. Obviously, it would be done with the right governance in place and transparency. So I'm looking forward to the prospects of how we could use this in a timely manner. So watch this space.
Again, we're very grateful to Andrew for securing 1.5 million. I think just in the last 5 minutes, I've given no less than 10 ideas to Andrew about what we're going to do with that. And you know what, at the end of the day, it's all about increasing the footfall here. And I think cleaning is great, and we already have that in place, and we could improve that. But what I would particularly like to see, a bit of a legacy project, which will increase the footfall. And I think £1.5 million large enough to do something with this Guildhall where we can make it into a usable building and increase that footfall so people can come, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a tourist information centre, but some kind of attraction where it becomes a central focal point for our city centre.
One of the great opportunities in this new £40 million fund, both in the Ortons and out up in Paston and Gunthorpe and Llewellyn, is that the people in charge of the project will be the local community. And over the coming weeks, we'll be helping set up a local board for the two projects. That's going to involve representatives from the schools, the health service, the housing associations, but also local residents. So watch this space. We'll be bringing out the ideas, and we'll be getting guidance from the government to really good that we've been given a nominated official in Whitehall to work with us to make sure we spend the money effectively, but also we get the consultation right. I want to make sure this is a project which isn't driven from the town hall, but is driven from the communities, so that we have that real input locally in the two areas about whether it is short-term measures like bulky waste collections, new bins, tidying up the area, or whether it's bigger, more ambitious projects like taking over unwanted shops or a new youth centre or getting new healthcare provision. All of that's on the table. We've got 10 years funding coming on stream, and it's going to be much more transparent than things we've seen in the Towns Fund. I know one of the criticisms of the Towns Fund has been it's been hidden away from some of the decisions. We were going to let the sunlight shine into this project, but watch us over the coming weeks as we understand what the rules are about bringing the community together. So I think it's a really unenviable choice the council's had. The current administration has been saddled with a white elephant in terms of a project. Put simply, council should not be investing in hotels. Back in, I think, 2017, when this was originally done, the council was under huge pressure for its budgets. So it was absolutely crazy the council investing in a hotel which should be bought by the private sector. The challenge now is to get as much money back as possible for the taxpayer, and I know that's finding balance, but I think the council now has come to the right decision, which is to sell it on and make back as much money as possible for the public.
What I want to add to that, just to that point, is that let nobody hide behind the fact of COVID. No council should be lending money to the private sector for private enterprises. There are banks to do that. Council are not in a position to carry out the due diligence what banks are able to do. And even when you do carry out the due diligence, even if you went down that route, you should know and you should have enough stress testing of those particular organisations that they are able to withstand any COVID or any stress test. Look, most organisations survive that. Most building companies, most banks survive that and are carried on operating that. So this was clearly a weak developer and a weak decision by the council.
Is it also fair to say that all councillors, pretty much all councillors, were in favour of the decision to lend £15 million in the first place back in 2017?
Actually, Shabina and I were not elected during that time, so we
weren't. This is before my time, but what I would like to say is, of course, having a brand like the Hilton on the skyline of the city is an incredibly attractive proposal, but I think as an administration which is now broader, represents a range of political views, and we've reset the dial on a collaborative, inclusive working relationship, and we also represent the views of the majority of people in the city, that we want to look after their pound, we want to look after their investment, and it was the right thing to do. So whilst we really hope that it remains as the Hilton, whoever we sell it off to, we do feel that prioritising the needs of the people of this city comes first before any sort of vanity project, so to speak. And I think that we've been very decisive on that, so I won't criticise our decision. Thank you very much. So we've had a look at the draft plans. There are talks about the location and obviously how it's going to complement the city centre in particular. We're really excited about it, and watch this space to see news come out very soon, hopefully before the end of the year.
And some breaking news as well. I spoke on the phone to the new minister in the Department of Business and Trade, who's in charge of the Growth Mission Fund, to update him on progress. We've got the plans coming together. In the coming weeks, government is going to be having a conversation in more detail with the council, so I'm hopeful before Christmas we're going to get the announcement that we've talked about before.
So with Andrew, it seems as though, and with the leader of the council, all the ducks are lining up.
Are those plans finished and finalised for the pool and the sports quarter?
The ink isn't quite dry on it, but they are almost ready. We've got plans we've looked at. The steering group has looked at the options about the different facilities in it. We are 95% there.
We want to include the Combined Authority Mayor as well in this. Combined Authority Mayor, we'll be looking, as a council, we'll be looking towards him for some funding as well. And what I would really like to see is everybody out in it. It's an infrastructure for our city, where our children have been deprived from swimming for a long time now, and we need to have that as soon as possible, and we want everybody on board. I think Andrew's been having meetings with a number of different groups and users, and we want to incorporate Paul Bristow from Combined Authority, and we will welcome his help in this process as well.
Good stuff.